This one is going to be a brand new video known as logical psychiatry. Never mind this right here. My AutoZone shirt. I don't work. I never worked for AutoZone. I just got the thing from my particular store. I'm going to discuss many different topics, but of course a certain one. And I know there's several others, but the one thing is, I'm going to start with relationship situations here. The one thing about relationships, and yet many women don't realize, and I mentioned it several times in my logical psychiatry posting. Of course, this is why there's gatherings or organizations or support systems known as MGTOW, MGTOW, as in. And of course, is due to the feminist idiot bitches, and also it's also due to, of course, the Me Too movement. Um, and also it's due to many other feminist bullshit and female hypocrisies and illogical crap. And I'm gonna read you one, or maybe two. I know I got two of them basically here that generally that there's many of them that shall we say are logical in their own way, granted, but here's one. Load up here. Let's see. Many men do not see a woman's said logic at times, even when her wordings and reasons are not realistic and not truly logical. She will not admit it, and this is the truth, at all, and try to make statements to try to make that logical and unrealistic logic sound factual and true when it will not be in any way or on any level. Says this can be a strain emotionally and psychologically if it continues, and it can lead to separation stress, infidelity, adultery / cheating, and this is done in action illogically by both male and female. Sometimes at the same time, sometimes one or the other. Essentially, I didn't have that part of it, but I'm letting you know. It says at times at the same time without each other knowing, and at other points the woman does it, even if and when the man or female is devoted. See that, of course, if the man does it, then and the female is devoted and doesn't do it. Therefore, if the female does it, the man is devoted and doesn't do it, right? Doesn't do the adultery and all that shit, right? It says right here, and of course, when the man or woman essentially is devoted and faithful to the marriage/relationship, and even at this point, both sides think that they can truly trust and have faith and more in them. And that may have been the case in the beginning in the relationship before the and before the marriage, but what many people of both genders do change in many different ways. That's one truth. Um, in many reasons, if one side is not willing to work and support each other emotionally to where you both can work it through together, where you both can be comfortable with each other to remain together with each other in the relationship without thinking of doing any sinful acts outside the relationship. This can be a stressful, emotionally, and this can be strainful essentially emotionally and psychologically if it continues. It can lead to separation, stress, infidelity, adultery, cheating, and this is done in action illogically by both male and female. At times, the same and at the same time, um, without each other knowing again. Well, that's what I already mentioned anyway. And it says, let's see, let's see, my apologies, I repeated that part. Anyway. The general fact is that I'm going to go down to this one part here, and if you go on to my Facebook page of psychological I think it's logical psychiatry. That's where you'll see this post. It says if you are married and if you are in the middle or in the beginning of a relationship or even before a relationship, even new ones, you need to more than take this to heart, because once you are in a relationship on any level, no matter what, no matter how long or short it has been, um, you can treat it as a used, and if you cannot treat it as a used pair of shoes. Actually, you can't treat each other in that sense at all, in that aspect. Um, that see, you just bought at a store, no matter what, and no matter how length of days, time, whatever. You need to be true and honest and caring and loving to and with in yourself in order to emulate and show and give that to your wife, current or future. Both, of course. This also has to do with your husband if you're a female, or even future husband for that matter, and boyfriend. Same thing with it for the men when it comes to females, being their girlfriend or wife or fiancés for that matter, on both ends, both sides of the this has to be done. This has to be ongoing, or you are just not truly ready to be with anyone. And it says, till you are logically the um, the positive emotional psychological way to and within yourself. And if you begin to fall to the point, even in a marriage slash relationship with anyone, and you will see some static psychologically, emotionally, that in itself can also cause stress within you and the other person. We need to find ways, even within yourself, and with that you want to have one that you are married to in relationship with it with is willing and able to support and help you through it. Basically, you have to basically do the same thing for them. You need to be able to do the same for her, or him essentially. Essentially, both sides have to be able to do that for each other. With that, it does not hurt in any way. It's not shameful to go into relationship counseling together to do, and do not worry, this will not totally in any way define you. You and your position in the relationship. It will and can, if you truly allow it to better and to better understand one another. Also, where you can better and understand you within as well. Because I know the actuality is that not very many people really truly understand or know what they're truly feeling from within, especially when it comes to relationships and many other things. And even in the beginning of a boyfriend girlfriend relationship, fiance relationship, and even the aspect of even in the beginning of a marriage, and even hours before or days before the marriage. Therefore, in the sense of the cold feet metaphor, among other things. It says, but the logical step in this case is do not have any child or children till you both are able to restabilize both of you and strong and essentially have a strong and support with and for each other, no matter what comes your way. You see your way from either side of the family members of yours or hers, even in a financial situation and issue or any other thing. If you already have children or a child, do not lash out on and against your child or children, even if and when you are dealing with a stressful situation slash issue of any sort, type, and kind. The fact is that many say that they say that they do not do that or will never do that. But the reality is, and this is true, um, the reality check in the sense of the reality check, essentially, we do that even without meaning to. But at the same time, we don't necessarily realize it as we do it. So do not lead to the point of it so-called not meaning to in what is a phony excuse. Basically, logically, it is a phony excuse. And easy, and it's an easy emotional excuse. and psychological way out of many things. Many people make different excuses for many different reasons, just to get out of, just to sort of explain things the best way they can, the way they feel, even if it's not in its full entirety. Um, says that is more than unrealistic and illogical, so do not go down that path. Okay, and there's another one where it says, and I will read this one here. Let's see, relationship and parenting. Let's see, being a human, love being a human emotion. Many women equal numbers of men, but um, but the true thing being that women are in tune with their emotions. It is not logical that they are, for the simple reason that they do not always use it. Thus, um, so, let's see. Yeah, it says that they do not always use it. Thus, they know that they want to be on a positive level. That's the truth. Um, they use it in the most illogical ways when they mostly claim that they are very kind-hearted, yet they use men in the most unrealistic, illogical way and manner. What makes things harder on both the female equally as much to the male, even in marriages, basic and serious to moderate relationships. So women can no longer, in all reality and logic, point the finger of blame to the male. The same goes for the males. Both the female and male need to own up to it equally. No lower or higher percentage to and against each other, each against either gender essentially. The end result is the truth, and I'm going to read the end result here once I do one thing. Give me a second. Okay, the end result is simply, and I'm about to read it. The end result in that case is where the woman becomes single mothers, and this is an actuality, and where of course Tom Likas has said time and time again, never to date and never to marry single mothers in all of 21. It makes it harder on them even when the males pay child support. It makes it harder for the woman emotionally, psychologically, and intellectually, among others. In addition, this is not always focused on when parents of children divorce, separate, and the emotional, psychological base within the child or children are negatively affected. Therefore, you think the child is not going to be negatively affected due to particular being fatherless or motherless? when it comes to a separation situation or divorce, because you are not willing to get along logically with one another. You think you understand your child. You think the child would basically, realistically understand you and why, even no matter how many times and how you explain it in different venues and variations and what have you. They only see and experience things. Therefore, they will essentially, when they get to your point, your area, your standpoint of and when it comes to relationships, they more often than not, they will repeat the same shit. You don't want that, do you? Okay, it says if you were to ask or talk with them about it, they would simply deny it or pretend it does not bother or affect them in any way. Which basically, that's more of a defense um, mechanism, emotionally inside. Basically, it does, but they don't want to. They don't want to open up to that and tell you honestly. Because they don't know exactly. They don't want to. They don't want to come out in the sense of like disappointing or whatever, or negatively, bad talking their parents because they're very honest and whatnot in every positive thing. Um, let's see. It says when it does. Like I say, it does. It does affect it. There are many signs to look for. It is not always of why and or how a child or children act out verbally or act or in action, as many still think it does. It goes much deeper, where it's within each person's psyche. Without knowing, the child or children do more than tend to try to not only figure out why their parents are no longer together, and the younger children wonder if it's their fault due to the separation, which basically it's not, but they don't understand that. Um, it is it is proven that yes, it is not the child or children's fault, no matter the age or of both the child or children, but but they still carry that with them, and that's an actuality. In reality and logic, they do, and yet again, there could be points to where they don't admit it, even along the way. Um, let's see. And they do more than tend to suppress it slash hold it within them of how and why they feel the way they do essentially at various ages and do not know why and what they feel. It is the same with many adults. Basically, you may not know as an adult. You may not know what you truly and how you truly feel about your spouse, significant other, wife, husband, be that father or mother of the children, or future mother or future father of any particular type of child or children. Um, it says, and it says, many adults and children from 18 through their 20s to start with. This is more than common in and with many, no matter the gender and age and reasons and more. And also, so the parents and future and soon-to-be parents need to take this into more than serious consideration and thought, and know that the situation or situations will not only affect them emotionally, even emotionally, it does the same to the children. Again, no matter the age of the and children or child. So logically, it cannot be if you simply think you both will be together for as long as many grandparents have been. To again um, start with, it does not take more than living with and dating each other, even within the current um, physical, emotional, psychological thoughts um, and feelings, essentially. Both female and male may have, even in the beginning, to moderate, middle, or part of the relationship. And yes, it more than tends to be on what the male or female claims to say and prove to each other, even when the things to prove are not plainly simple. So to prove in showing you're not at fault slash to blame, to show that you are faithful and innocent. That is the reality and fact and logic of it. When that goes into play, a good part of why there is a very high rate of divorce in the U.S. Be there, of course, I said USA. To start with. So, till both female and male begin to realize that it is logical to not marry and do not procreate, do not have a child or children, essentially. When both genders realize that, then we can hope to start that the divorce rate may lower to go as far as nil, to no more divorcing, no more um, cheating, no more unfaithfulness, no more lies and deception and more. In short, the male and female and child or children will finally be in a loving, caring, supportive family to start. It says we all know there are there is more to it, but the positive parts to it is logical and a good start. Says and where many children more than tend to emulate and repeat, maybe that of course slash repeat, their parents have done in what is not always positive. They can reach and repeat a strong positive in our children's futures and stay away from the negative entirely. Here's another one. Okay. We all know that this is or can be a very touchy subject to many, but it is logical to use this as a reminder to all future and soon-to-be parents. No matter if you are in a serious relationship, starting with a marriage, it is not logical to use any child or numbers of children as pawns or any other thing as both the male and female parents or foster parents of any child or children to you cannot use them against each other. Be that, of course, metaphorically, you cannot hang the child metaphorically over each other's heads, essentially, as the points of control and proving that you're right, even though you know there's a very large to a moderate realistic percentage or portion of non-realism and non-logic to your reason and to prove that you're the top dog or whatever, to prove that you're right and to prove that you're the better person over each other. Doesn't work logically. Let's see. Um, it says you cannot use them against each other essentially by holding the child or again children over each other's heads to get emotional psychological leverage in a relationship. Even if you want to get your way, which is basically illogical, unrealistic, and childish if you do that. To be and be shown that you are right and he or she is wrong. That doesn't solve the anything. One, children did not ask to be to the first truth of the whole thing here. One, children did not ask to be brought into this world, but even as they are brought into this world, they are human beings, and let's see, human beings as adults. The male and female, and basically equal to the male and female, are also human beings as well. Be that the parents of the children, or foster parents of them. A child or children are not to be used as pawns, things to hold against each other, no matter what the reasons are, and or might be, even in any argument and disagreements of any sort, type, and kind and level. If child protective services, be that of course CPS, were to get wind of it, then the child or children can easily be taken away at any young age to teenage, before 18 start. Let's see, from both the mother and father, essentially, of the child or children, they will be placed into foster care and foster homes. So a reminder to all soon to be current and parents, both single and married and divorced and separated, learning things to and for all future parents in any verbal, vocal at times, but not a logical action, being physical arguments, disagreements. Never do these things, even at the start of the marriage or relationship. Never argue verbally, physically in front of any child or children. Never use the child or children as pawns, things to metaphorically use over each other's heads and against each other. Never have children if you are going to have any type level kind of argument / disagreements at any given point in time, even while in the beginning or middle of the relationship or marriage. And before you even consider having a child or children, go see a marriage/relationship counselor and psychiatrist essentially. Take parenting classes. Take care of one or two cats, kittens, or dogs, or puppies. Basically, cats/kittens, dogs/puppies. Do not do any extravagant spending over and overspent on items or each other or yourself and others, even when it comes to taking long trips, vacations, and going on outings, even locally. Let's see. Try and make a positive, cost-effective, affordable traditions, even ones that you can share with your nephew, niece, cousins, and this will be and have to be the same traditions, and that you would be able to bring your child or children to, besides church, camping, and at the beach, horseback riding. It would have to be safe enough to do so as well. It is logical to have time to yourself together and apart, even while in a relationship and marriage. But it is not logical if you cheat on each other while apart. The time apart will help grow the marriage or relationship. It can help both the male and female get along better, and the relationship or marriage can last longer. If at all you do have children or a child, it would not only be a good positive thing for the child or children, it would also and can also be proved and also prove emotionally, psychologically positive um, to for the two adult parents of each of the child or children, essentially. Um, this and more are things to follow if you want to know more. What the more is, and if you have any questions, if you need us to talk with, um, let's see, if you need us to talk with, please let us know. Essentially, please let me know. Do note that all this time, more will and can determine, and see, and more can, and see, all this time and more will and can determine if at all you both fit and are truly right for one another, even in a marriage or relationship. No matter if it's in the beginning or middle part of it, if you both are truly ready to be parents to child or children at any given time/point, even if you should have children together. We know that is harsh. It is harsh. It is come out harsh as well. Um, um, but in general aspects, in reality and logic, it is factual, realistic, that of course reality, and true. Fine. Of it. But it is also logical if and when we do not at times refuse to see and accept that. I'm going to tell you straight out. Again, this video is a logical psychiatry video. one of the first. I'm going to tell you straight out. One, you are a human being. You deserve equal respect. Women don't deserve more respect than the males. The males don't deserve more respect over the females, even more than the females. It goes the same with children. The children will eventually learn they need to respect each other on the same level. Doesn't matter what age they are. Of course, when they're infants and everything, then of course, that's a totally different thing. They're learning and in a different aspect. But as they get older to where they can better learn and understand things in their own way, granted. But the one thing is also never negate this. Each of what I read, do not ignore it. Because it is logical and it is factual and it is reality. But never negate this as well. You need to really, really, really take what I said, what I read to heart, even from within, even beyond the heart, emotionally and what have you, and psychologically. Because there are many children that act out in many different ways. To be there, of course, school shootings is one aspect of acting out. And of course, in the aspect of that is that they claim, and many people claim that they have some sort of like psychological disorder of sorts, among other things. Be that, of course, also, which basically they try to tie into base of emotion. Do you want that for your child or children, or future child or children, or soon to be your child or children if you're expecting at this point, or at any point for that matter? If you don't, you need to really take what I read and what I posted on the page and what I read on my page of logical psychiatry. To heart and realize what I said is logical, because basically it's true, and you should know this already by now as adults, that the U.S. has the most highest percentage rate in its history of the highest separation and divorce rate. And that's why, one, when you have a child and you go through various emotional, psychological issues, verbally as well as emotionally and psychologically and at times physically, if not more than pretty much on the same level as physically, without striking each other, of course. You are not only affecting each other emotionally and psychologically, but also yourselves at the same point. You are not only affecting each other as well as yourselves, but also if you do have children or nieces and nephews, you're also affecting them on the same aspect. Therefore, nieces and nephews can easily repeat the same shit and the same actions, same motivation, what have you else, as the aunts and uncles, if not their parents. That, of course, if you have nieces and nephews. Therefore, if you plan to have children at all, even if you have children at the same point in time, it's the same thing. And at times the child will emulate and and generally do the same thing but in a different concept, different aspect, what have you, as the parents have and already have done, even while the child was growing up and is growing up. Everybody deserves to have a supportive family, supportive, loving, caring family. Ones that have both fathers and mothers still together, still able to get along with each other, and able to work through the differences together, logically, without striking each other, without harming each other or anybody else for that matter, without even harming or striking the child, without doing anything verbally or psychologically to the child or to each other or to yourself or oneself essentially. Many people have said, "Oh, they had it easier than we do these days." I've heard that so many fucking years. It's not funny. I've heard it in the 1970s. I've heard it in the 1980s. I've heard it about the 1960s, 50s, and I've heard it about the 1990s. I've heard it in the beginning of the millennium. But yet, the end result is always not the case of what they vocalize. There's always something that essentially arises, as it were, if you will, to start with. Is that to where they go from this point of support, togetherness, love, care, the whole enchilada, right, to this point, and at times to this point, to where one is still around for the child, for children, and the other one is practically not either non-existent or no longer around for various different reasons. Aside from maybe being out of state or out of city or what have you else. That's a bad thing for the child even to have that within their lives. Because every child deserves a father. Every child deserves to have a mother. Every child deserves to have a father and mother, biological father and mother. It could be also a foster parent. Foster parents do if it goes to that point. And take the protection of the child. Be that, of course, if the child's actual parents are drug addicts or criminals and rapists and what have you else. That's basically illegal and illogical and sinful, what have you else. Um, I myself, I can tell you, I was raised by a single mother. If you watch my advocate videos, you'll see that I wasn't negatively affected. She did what she could, the best she could. I respect her for that. Although there are more times as I got older, from teenage all the way through, that we never we hardly ever got along. I'm not going to place blame on myself or her, but the basic fact is it happens. It's a sad thing, but it happens even if it's a mother-daughter situation, or if it's a father-daughter situation, or if it's a father-mother. I mean, if it's a father-son or mother and son. It happens. I'm not saying it's a logical thing, but it happens. I decided to do the page and this video, which I will add on to it only with YouTube. Um, which again, I need to thank YouTube for allowing me to put the videos on the site that I have. But I also ask that YouTube please put the music back on to my Long's Drugstore video that they took it off, and yet know that I did, and I still have the CDs that I put the music on. And basically, I know many others that have done the same thing, that they of CDs that they own. So basically, it wasn't illegal, it wasn't illogical to do. But again, I want to thank YouTube. Nonetheless, outside of that, I want to thank YouTube for allowing me to put on the advocate videos that I have and voice what I felt needed to be said, and even on this one, even on the logical MGTOW video the videos that I have from my logical MGTOW page and members and whatnot. For one thing, I'm gonna go back on logical psychiatry. I know many people have heard of Star Trek. Many people have heard of Leonard Nimoy's character Spock. Do you think that Spock would agree with the way children are raised when it comes to being around people parents who physically harm each other, people who emotionally, psychologically harm each other without any physical, you know, physical abnormalities, what have you, or actions for that matter. It's a sad thing. It happens, yes, but the one thing is, it can go to the point where it never happens. But the one thing is, it has to be done in order for it to actually be in the aspect of happening. It is true that there are many senior citizens that have been together for several numbers of years, large number of years. And many people try to claim that they try to take the same method or from the metaphorical book, if you will. But they really don't. They only go about it the way they feel, both male and female. And at times it doesn't really go logically or unrealistically, and it goes against the Bible in many ways, more than one time. Doesn't matter who it is, and it doesn't matter the reason. The reasons are not logical, and also they can also be seen as unrealistic and a general phony bullshit excuse. Many people claim, many women want a white picket fence, a good sized house to have with them. And at times when they want that, then right when they get that, even if they get something even metaphorically close to it, or even they start up to it while in a relationship and or marriage, there's always something that they do or say or go into the action, any particular type of action to do that they do or even claim and say, and any form and any reasons that they can, essentially make materialize. The same thing is done by men though. It's I'm not gonna place blame or fault, but the basic fact is this is actuality. But we can make it to where it doesn't turn into actuality, to where none of the negative happens. It doesn't matter what type of negative it is, where there's no cheating, no adultery, no infidelity, no physical harm towards each other, not even physical harm or even emotional harm towards each other or to oneself. Be that to oneself being, of course, male and or female. And no psychological emotional harm to oneself, be that again male or female, and the child or children. It takes one positive person, one positive emotional person to do that, and you cannot go that direction if you think you need to negatively affect, even emotionally, psychologically affect the other person by by claiming that you're about to go down that direction. It's a two-way street. Both have to go down the same pathway and still support each other and still help each other out. Still be side by side with one another while going down the same path. And yes, the children essentially would follow in their own way. Because once they see things that are positive, eventually they will repeat the same positive thing when they get to the point of having relationships and marriage and with another person. But it is true also that children more than tend to repeat the same shit that they've witnessed and experienced when it comes to their aunts and uncles, grandparents and parents, and foster parents and or foster parents. They even act out in their own ways, which basically would still connect to the negative shit that they witnessed and experienced and grew up around. And the negative is a big no-no when it comes to being around, raising your own child or children. And trust me, I'm being honest with you on that. Yes, women and men do change over time, over the course of amount of time. But the one thing is that you need to help one another. Help each other the best way possible to better understand one another and why. Without going behind each other's backs, without committing sin, adultery, infidelity. Be that, of course, without cheating and without doing shit behind each other's backs in all full aspects and in days. And yes, at times it does take going to a marriage/relationship counselor or psychiatrist or therapist. The one thing is, it's not going to negatively affect you as a person. Doesn't matter if you're male or female, if you think it'll negatively make you look bad. It won't. And if people judge you due to it, they're not truly your friends now, are they? They're not truly worth being around or even socializing. Same thing. I know you parents and you future parents or soon-to-be parents will say the same thing to the child when it comes to bully, doing acting in a negative, illogical way towards them, towards your child or any other child for that matter. I know that. So basically, you need to do the same, take the same advice, but in the adult context when it comes to relationship situations and when it comes to people's opinions and vocalizations. Even if they know you or claim to know all about you, and really they only know only so much of what you're allowing them to know, really, and logically. Aside from the fact that, and besides, even if they see certain things, doesn't mean that it's the full entirety of how you are and how you act and who that type of person or parents you are. It doesn't go into that aspect. So don't generalize that either. Just because people see you the way you are around children and other people, even as a couple, even by yourself. That's known as judging, and nobody likes being judged. So the basic fact is, treat others the way you yourself want to be treated, and it has to be on every positive level, with no physical harm towards anybody, and no physical harm done to yourself in any way and for any reason either. If you need some help and guidance and advice, please do let me know. And believe me, if you want to join in with this psychological psychiatry, please let me know as well on that. I will add more once more comes to various other issues or situations, both psychological and not, and of course realistic and humanitarian aspects come into mind, what have you, as well, among others. But do please be safe. Do not harm each other, because we will not. Even as an advocate, I will not put up with that. Even a MGTOW won't deal with that. Even logical MGTOW won't deal with that. Being honest. As Joe M. Long, the younger brother of the founder of being one of the founders of Long's drugstore, said, treat others the way you yourself want to be treated. He learned that from his mother. That's a positive aspect right there. That means including not only treat others around you, not only your spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend or fiancés and parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, the whole enchilada, right? That means if you want to be treated with respect and given respect, you need to show it and give it to others. Be that, of course, because one reason. Trust and respect is not simply and easily given, or be that, of course, handed out. It has to be received, and if you don't get it back, you don't need to be around people or person. It doesn't matter why you want to be or whatever else. If they're not willing to and willing and able to show and give you the same respect as you give them, don't do it. Seriously. It'll just make you feel way worse than you may already feel, even after not getting the same type of respect that you try to give by another person. Again, like I said, there will be more. When the time comes, you will see another video of logical psychiatry. Thank you. Have a good day.